What's going on, people? What's going on? Yeah, it's Pilgrims in the Earth. Today, I'm gonna be reacting and kind of giving my take on a situation that's going on in the public between you have rapper DDG and the singer and actress Holly Bailey, of course. Very popular topic that's in the media right now. So yeah, man, I'm gonna be breaking it down on my end. Stay tuned. Check this out.
No wonder Halle Bailey refuses to let DDG see their son. She set 3 strict rules for their interactions, and the last one led to their complete fallout. Recently, influencer and rapper DDG released a new song accusing his ex-girlfriend, claiming that Halle Bailey won't let him see their son. He rapped about how their time together is so short that he feels like nothing more than a babysitter. However, the real reason for Halle Bailey's restrictions might be that DDG broke her 3 key rules. First, they agreed to get married after their son was born. Both of them failed to follow through. Halle Bailey was too busy with The Little Mermaid's pre-production, while DDG only signed a prenup, leaving the rest of the process at a standstill. Second, their relationship, whether before or after the breakup, was supposed to remain private. However, DDG was seemingly desperate. He missed Halo so much that he publicly aired his grievances through his song. Finally, Halo was never supposed to appear in DDG's live streams. As one of the wealthiest streamers, DDG's broadcasts reach an enormous audience. Despite this rule, he went live with his son, which led to a huge argument with Halle Bailey.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So as you see, as you just check that video out, this is a common occurrence in our community. Um, Most definitely, very, very common in the black community. That's kind of what the perspective that I'm speaking of today. Of course, we're plagued in our communities by this type of activity. And I'm not, let me put a disclaimer. I'm not blaming either side. I'm not blaming the women, but there is a direct problem that we have to address today. That's why I named this video "The System versus the Fathers." The system versus the fathers. Yeah, so it's some things that we got to get out the way, man. We got to get it out the way. We got to have these uncomfortable conversations because, and I'm gonna go over 3 phases of things that fathers deal with, in these situations. Because as the video stated, or you know, they had a whether they had a contractual agreement of marriage. Of course, I'm for marriage. I've always promoted that, but you know, I also understand there's an agenda that goes on in the Western world, specifically speaking of America. Um, as we know, I'm a biblical foundation person, so the Bible tells us that the women is the weaker vessel. I believe that America gives women this power over the children because of the importance, the necessity needed for a father in the home. So with that, they're trying to attack the children. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to lead the children as the sacrifice um to overall the children gonna suffer in this situation, believe it or not. You're gonna target the woman's emotions, her emotions, as far as the breakup, or whether he's seeing other people, and not only to say that they're both in the public eye. So they're you got many people having opinions, and all this social media. I couldn't imagine. And she has this image, that she's trying to uphold. So and America has given the women the power. You get what I'm saying? They're giving them the power, and it's a direct agenda to destroy the family. Not only to destroy the family, but ultimately destroy the children. And we're gonna go over that today. So yeah, check this out, man. Check this out.
Some type of something going on in my life. I've been doing really good. I've been keeping my head down, just working, waking up every day, working, dealing with this shit on the same breath. Nobody will really know. And she got this fucking golden image that I've also protected. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna keep doing that because I'm a real nigga. But this shit is foul, bro. Like, If I want to come get my son, I should be able to get my son. Plain and simple. And I wasn't even coming to take him. Like today, I wasn't even going to take him out because he's sick. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to just grab my son and go hang out with him downstairs. Me and her don't really speak like that. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to take my son, go hang out downstairs. Whoop. I'm getting kicked out. No. Like it's conversations where it's like,
Man, you can clearly see that brother is going through it, man, and I can relate directly to it. I never kept it a secret. I have an older son. I have an older son, of course, with a woman who, you know, I went through that whole process with. You know what I'm saying? And what I will say to the brother, man, sound like a young brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm 37, of course. Yeah, it's not easy, man. It's not easy going through this, you know, and it's not everybody is going to automatically look at the woman as, you know, the primary, victim in this situation. Oh, she's independent. Oh, she's trying to do the right thing for her. And, you know, he's automatically going to get the image as the man, as he should have did better, or you should have fought, or you should fight. You know what I'm saying? It's very unfortunate. And I kind of want to be the voice of the fathers, you know, not because I went through that situation and I took it personal. So I feel like I got to, but you know what? In some way, yes, I can say that because I've seen it personally. I've seen how they treat fathers in the courtroom. I've seen, how they give women the authority over the child automatically and don't regard the fathers. If it's supposed to be 50-50 as far as financially, why can't it be 50-50 as far as the authority over the child and as far as the guardianship and the things like that? So, I want to be the voice for this brother, or for fathers who are going through the same thing, because we get labeled as deadbeats, but that's not always the case. You know what I'm saying? It's not always black and white. There are situations where most men that I've seen, they want to be in their children's life, but being that women go through these emotions, for whatever reason, you got women that go through emotions after the pregnancy. They go through emotions as far as, maybe the relationship didn't work, whatever the case may be, you know, this is what you have. You get what I'm saying? In this particular case, you can tell that the sister, she has a kind of a good image within the public view, so they're automatically, when you got fans involved, you got the internet, man, they gonna automatically shut his brother down. And you can tell it's really weighing on him. And his last resort was to come and speak out because, the public is probably, attacking his brother. But yeah, man, let's go over we're gonna go over three phases of cooperation, right? This is three phases of cooperation that usually men face or fathers face, you know what I'm saying? Because we understand it's a losing fight. You get what I'm saying? So let's go over the first one. The first phase. First, you give it time. You know what I'm saying? You give it time, you think it's gonna, blow away, man, she'll get over that. Maybe she'll see, she tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't possibly be trying to take me away from my child. You get what I'm saying? And this deals with the caliber of woman that you choose. Because in my case, I didn't choose a good caliber of woman. And that's all on me. You get what I'm saying? I don't know personally what kind of caliber of woman she is, but I do know the type of system that, what I'm saying, they have a child in. And being that, they're in a system that's predicated on giving the woman what she wants and giving her the authoritative position to make the decisions. It's like a dictatorship in this situation. A lot of women are just going to choose, especially if they're hurt and going through emotions, and he is not doing what he was, whether his contractual agreement or whether he's not doing what she wants him to do. She's going to always lean to that system. That's why I call it the system versus the fathers. So yeah, this is the first phase. You give it some time, because of course we understand women go through emotions, like I said, after having a child, but this could be challenging to a man because these are critical times. When a child is 1 year old, 2 years old, 8 months to 1 to 3 years old, those are critical times. That's when your child is, says his first word, dada. You know what I'm saying? That's when your child first start taking their first steps. So a lot of people say, "Oh, you need to go to court. You need to fight." Okay, but what about the time that I've missed? You can't get back time. You can reimburse money. You can't give back time. It doesn't work like that. So these are critical times. These are critical times that this man needs to see his child. So until then, how do you give women the power to just, they have the authority to just hold a child? Okay, I understand nurture. Women are naturally nurturers. Let's not get beside that. Women are naturally nurturers. A lot of children depend on breast milk. They depend on, a woman nurturing them. But also a father's first moments with his child, that's very important. We have to understand that. Okay? So yeah, man, check this out.
Because I don't get the chance to be a dad when I want to be a dad. Like you think I don't give a fuck about hanging around those girls. I want to be around my son. You feel me? But since I can't be around my son, I'm obviously gonna work. I'm not finna sit in the crib, look at the wall, and cry about this. I'm gonna go work. So it's like every single day or every other day, I'm trying to see him. I'm trying to get him to come over or whatever. I never get him dropped off. I always go pick him up. I live far as so I'm driving hours to go get him, and then I get there and I can't get him. Or I can't see him. My son is sick right now. I want to see my son. I want to hold my son. I want to, you know what I'm saying? I just want to comfort him. I want to put him in the shower, get some steam in his nose so he can feel better. I don't get the chance to do that. I get pinned against the wall, and then everything else is variables on why I can't see my son. You feel me?
So we back again. Yeah, man. As you can see, unfortunately, the brother, man, he's going through. You can see it written all over him. He's going through it. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure she's going through. Going through some type of things too. But you have to understand, she has her child, and we have to get rid of this notion. Niggas ain't this or niggas ain't that. Niggas is deadbeat. Stop saying that. What about your uncles? What about your cousins? What about your sons? Are you going to raise your sons up to have this same mentality? So we making the good fathers go the long way. You know what I'm saying? Go the long haul by doing the extra work. As he said, he had to drive a long way to go see, his child to in the end get rejected. Because again, it's a dictatorship. It's a dictatorship. In my humble opinion, I don't believe brothers should have children in that system, especially with the vibration of America right now. The laws as far as marriage, the laws as far as guardianship over the children. I don't think it's the right place to be having children, unless you're under like a systematic. You have people, you have wise counsel, you have parents involved, because they need mediators in this situation, right? They need mediators. She needs somebody to tell her, like, hey, how about if y'all can't communicate properly, how about we communicate with you or we communicate with your parents, and maybe we can situate a situation where we can get the child and bring him to him. You get what I'm saying? Because there's obviously some hurt in this situation. Maybe she feels hurt or slighted about something like the first video I showed you. Like you said, they had a contractual agreement that he was supposed to marry her. But yeah, man, this is very bad. So yeah, man, let's get into the second one. The second phrase or phase, I'm sorry, I keep saying phrase. The second phase of cooperation that you got to go through. Am I saying this right? Am I saying this is what you should do? No, but you're going to go through it. This is the second phase. Communication to bring understanding or a common ground. You know, communication. You're seeking that communication to bring understanding. You're calling. Hey, can I come see my son? Can I come see my daughter? Can I come see my children? And it depends on what the weather is for the day. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I don't went through these situations, man. I'm from Michigan, right? I'm from Detroit, Michigan. My very first son, I was 26 years old. Of course, I'm 37 now. I remember, and my child's mother would hit me up like, "Hey, I can't do this no more. You know, just come get him, or whatever." Man, I'm calling. Hey, yeah, I gotta go because she lived in Ohio. She lived near Cleveland, Akron, which is 40 minutes outside of Cleveland. I'm prepped up, ready to go get him. Oh, never mind. So a lot of them, and that's why I say the caliber of women that you choose, man, that thing will drive you crazy because they'll play with it. They'll dangle the kid, you know what I'm saying? They'll play puppet master. They'll play with the kid's emotions and all that. So it's a dictatorship, like I said. You know, I remember having to drive hours to go, to go see my son or try to see my son, like he stated. But if there's a lack of communication between the two, there's really no solution. And then I can only imagine seeing your son, you know what I'm saying, on social media or the big world stage. You know what I'm saying? You can't see your son personally, but the world can see your son. You get what I'm saying? So man, that's the second step, communication to get understanding. You still kind of sitting back like, can we figure something out? Now the frustration is starting to kick in, you know what I'm saying? And men naturally, we're territorial over our family, we're territorial over our children. We're the leader of the pride. You get what I'm saying? So we automatically just we're natural protectors, we're natural providers. So like the brother said, he just work hard, keep working. You ain't gonna sit back and you're not gonna sit back and waddle on your emotions like no female. You got to get to it, and that's what you should do. Men, you gotta man up, man. It's nothing you can really do in a system that's built off of that. You get what I'm saying? Uh you're under a systematic oppression of fathers to take the children away and keep them up under the mother for a reason. So yeah, man, that's the second one, man. Check this out.
On here and I gotta do this shit. I don't want to be on no fucking shade room, bro. Like I don't want to be on no blogs and no shit like that, nigga. I'm just trying to kick it, but I gotta do shit like this. Now I gotta go to court, do all this extra shit when it ain't even gotta be like that, bro. But today was my last straw. I'm like, all right, cool. Y'all, if y'all was watching me stream yesterday, y'all know I'm like, all right, I wasn't even gonna stream today. I'm like, I ain't streaming today. I'm gonna be with my son. I planned my whole day to be with him. My whole day was around that. And then I get there and I'm kicked out of the crib, can't see him, whatever. Mind you, we have our own lives. Like she got her own shit going on. I got my own shit going on in terms of who we fuck with. Like we not together whatsoever. We not boyfriend and girlfriend. So ain't got nothing to do with the content. Ain't got nothing to do with nothing. I've been dealing with this forever where I feel like I'm a secondary parent. And I know a lot.
So yeah, man, we back, man. As you can see, the brother, he tired, man. He tired. He didn't try everything. His last resort is that court, man. That court, and unfortunately, you're not gonna get the proper the proper representation in court. Of course, he probably get. He's a rapper. I don't know if he got the financial opportunity to fight. I believe so. You know what I'm saying? Look like he's gonna go the long way to try to get his child. You know what I'm saying? As far as visitation rights, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, it's very bad. I remember, man, I've witnessed my son being in a negligent situation. I'm talking about a lack of resources. I'm talking about a lack of food, water. I'm talking about breaking rules from the courts. You know what I'm saying? And as soon as I don't even know what's going on, there was no communication. I don't even know what's going on. You get what I'm saying? So I received the news of CPS taking my son. I had to literally drive, to the court date. I was notified by the system. You get what I'm saying? CPS. So I immediately drive to, like I say, Akron, Ohio. And I'm hearing stuff in the courtroom that was breaking news to me. You get what I'm saying? And I remember vividly. They saying in the court, her lawyer, You know, she was lawyered up. You know, and this was the second time. The first time I didn't even know about. He was taken temporarily out of her custody. So this time, the lawyer said, Your Honor, he hasn't seen his child since he was, you know, a newborn baby. And immediately, man, I got hot. I was like, well, I got pictures. I was just down here with him. You know, and the judge was like, hey, be quiet. I was like, dang. But I remember previously, maybe a year before I was cut off, you know, they will cut you off, man. I'm talking to you men, you young men. They can cut you off. You will have to hire a private investigator, or, you know, to find these chicks, man, or these mothers to your children. You don't know where your child is. It's crazy. But I remember everything was great, man. And you know, I had to literally negotiate to come see my child. You know, I'm like, me and my wife, you know, he had a brother here. I want him to meet. She's like, I don't want none of that. I don't want her around him. I don't want I don't want him seeing it, no little brother. It's only you that can come. So of course, going back and forth. I'm like, man, okay, whatever. I just want to see my son. I come down there, bring, you know, clothes, you know, different things, you know, just to sit with him for, you know, a few minutes. I had to get a hotel room because, of course, I'm not coming to your crib. You know what I'm saying? And I can get into all that later, the reasons for that. But I'm telling you, man, these women, they will hold a dictatorship against you, and don't let it be another man around. Because they going to be in her DM. And I'm sure that brother faces that. You know, she on, you know, advertising on you know, social media. They're gonna be up in there. You know what I'm saying? So let it be another man around. He's gonna dictate your visiting rights or what you should do with your child between him and her, or you and her. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, man, it's a cold world. But yeah, man, I remember going to see my son, you know, before the court dates and all that. You know what I'm saying? And I remember her trying to like control me, you know what I'm saying? Trying to come at me, you know what I'm saying? I reject, like, no, I'm just here to see my son. So right after that, I get totally cut off. No contact, no nothing. If they can't control the situation under their dictatorship that's set up by the US government, controlled to feed off these women's emotions, and sway the children away from the man, so in return you can have a black community full of dysfunction, no structure, no leadership, broken homes. These children are suffering, man. Do you know, I watch a lot of these drug addicted, alcohol addicted, prison, all when you get to the main source of these men, a lot of them and a lot of these women, it's the fathers. Man, I didn't have my father. I was looking for that man over me to, you know, to kind of protect me. These children need their fathers, man. They need their fathers. I'm speaking from experience. I see how my child every day, he wants my my okay. He wants my acceptance. He wants to, just like, you know, how we do with the Father in heaven, these children want to please their father. And I can only imagine what it is for daughter, because I got all sons. I can only imagine what the importance of a father for a daughter. So yeah, man, the brother, it looks like, you know, he's going through a lot, man. He's going through a lot. And he just finally said, you know what, we're going to just go to court. We don't even be wanting to deal with the court system. We don't be wanting to deal with no court system. But guess what? They'll do that. Because guess what? They already have the legal representation. They don't have to fight for the child because they already have the child. We have to fight for the child. You know what I'm saying? It has to be extreme measures, extreme conditions for us to even get custody or full custody. I was in an extreme situation. I'm talking about no food. You know, she got the criminal record. I ain't even had a criminal record. I'm talking about assault and all that. And in court, I'm just looked at as, I'm just another nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to see my child. You know, but I'm telling you, man, from the lawyers to the court appointed lawyers to the judge to the CPS workers, it's a dirty game, bro. It's a dirty game. They all connected. They all connected. So let's get into the last one, man. Number three. Number three, man. Number three. Men usually submit. So submission. Submission is number three, right? Submission. Men usually submit to the mother's demands, usually working around their time for visitation, who's allowed around the child, and where the child can go. Complete submission to the mother is by design by the system because it leaves the child at a disadvantage. And unfortunately, the last stage is, the court system, which is going to drain the father. He's already drained emotionally, financially, hoping that he completely gives up his rights overall, leaving the child to his mother. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, man, a lot of fathers, and I'm going to say this humbly, right? A lot of fathers, man, we go into it. We get, got to get you got that fight in you. You get what I'm saying? I got to get my child. I got to get my child. You done put money behind it. You done took off work, but it's like after so much money, so much time that's lost, you eventually do this for the sake of your mental health. Now, mind you, a woman can say, hey, this is too much for me. I don't want to be a mother no more. I can go get a child up for adoption. I can go get a child. They literally had a video. They had like a place where you could just drop the baby off and just give up motherhood. You know what I'm saying? But a father can't do that. The moment you choose to lay down with that woman and you put your seed inside of her and she conceives that baby, you're responsible. You're responsible. So fellas, we have to start living like that. Number one, you have to start choosing the caliber of woman that you choose to have a child with. The caliber of woman. Number two, it has to be a system. And for America's sake, it has to be a system within the system. For example, the educational system. You have the public school system where they have a lot of dictating things where you can't do this, you got to back the children and all that. But we had to create a system within a system, homeschooling, right? Where we do our own thing. So you have to do your own thing aside from that. So she has to know, I don't care how good y'all is, the butterfly stage and all that. Hey, if we possibly could have a child, and she gonna tell you, no, I would never do that. I would never do that. But when things get wrong, she gonna do that. She gonna do that. So look, if A and B was to happen, let's have a group, like I said, a support system. So if things go left, we can have, like I said, wise counsel or mediators to dictate this situation that can help us because there's always three sides to a story. There's going to be her version, his version, and what actually happened. You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. You got people still arguing 10 years later about what he done did, what she done did. The child is 10 years old now. That's time lost. You get what I'm saying? And the child suffers. The child suffers. So yeah, man, that last stage is complete submission of the man where he just gives up, Of course, he tried to go through that court system. They gonna tell you, hey, I don't want no women around my child. I don't want no women around her. I don't want around him, or I don't want you taking them over there with no women. But meanwhile, she can have anybody around your child. She can have anybody around your child. Do you know how many situations of boyfriends, stepfathers of the child being touched on or the child being assaulted? Who take the blame for that? They'll blame the father for that. In fact, we just seen a case like that. Well, where a sister, where the children lost their lives in a casino garage. Who is to blame? The father. So we have to understand, man. Men, I'm talking to you. There's not gonna be no mercy on you, bro. And I'm not making this video to be like, yeah, bro, Hold in there. You know, I am saying hold in there, be strong. But at the end of the day, man, you got to put your big boy pants on and start making good decisions for yourself and your family, because it's nothing like the last stage of submission. Like, dang, I can't even do nothing, man. I can't even do nothing. But wait till my child turns 21 one day or 18 one day, and we had a conversation, because they're gonna have the notion of, oh, you wasn't shit, you wasn't there as a father. My mama told me you wasn't shit. They're gonna have that. But you're gonna have to sit them down and be like, hey, I've been waiting on you for this day. You know what I'm saying? I was here financially for you. I was paying child support. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be there emotionally to support you, but A and B happened. So that's why a lot of children, they grow up having disdain for their mothers, because they eventually get to talk to their father. A lot of children don't never get to have that conversation. A lot of children don't never get to have that conversation. And that's very unfortunate, man. That's very unfortunate. That's the world we live in, and that's the system that we under. So we got to do better, man. We got to do better. But yeah, man, this is Pilgrims in the Earth, man. Hey, man, y'all like, share, subscribe. Peace. We out.